According to Sharon Jason, who writes for USA Today, the national average spent by single people ages 18 and older on dating per month is only $60. Okay, that might not look like a lot, but $60 can add up pretty quick. So for $60 every month for a year is $720. Okay, so you're looking at this money thinking $720 can go a long way, right? We're poor college students. We need every cent we can get. So why would we spend this money on dating when we could be spending it on 3 months' rent or groceries for an entire year? And actually, $720 is a whole month worth of paychecks working 24 hours a week at minimum wage here in Utah. So why is dating so important and why should we spend our money on it? Especially in a college town in Logan, the number of people getting married is really, really high. So far this year, the weddingreport.com tells us that there have been over 1,000 weddings in Logan, Utah alone. 33% of our culture here is single, while 56% is married. So it's kind of hard to watch people around us find the one when we might be stuck without one. So you're probably wondering, well, maybe I should just, give up and pocket this money for rent or groceries, but I don't want you to give up. As cheesy as it sounds, I'm a huge believer in a happily ever after. And I want you to have yours, and I think everyone deserves a chance at that, so that's what I'm going to help you do here today. I'm going to kind of show you some date ideas that should be avoided, and then give you some better ones to help foster communication on your date to really get to know the person that you're with. And if you're married, like some of you are, I'm still talking to you too, because you should still date your spouse after you're Mr. and Mrs. So when you walk out of here today, it should be a little bit easier to ask out that cute girl or guy that you've been thinking about. So first question you're probably wondering is, why should we date at all? I mean, who in here has a desire to be happier? I know I do. Happiness is a good thing. Susan Lang from Cornell University did a review of a study that was done by Cornell professors, and she summed up their research, and the researchers showed that having a romantic relationship makes both men and women significantly happier, which is not a bad thing, right? So I know that dating is scary, it comes with a lot of anxiety, and I know that guys, you do carry a majority of that anxiety because it's a majority of your responsibility to ask the girl out on the date instead of vice versa. And I wish I could get up here and tell you a million ways to make that easier, but that's not really possible because asking a girl out is just nerve-wracking. But girls, you're not off the hook. You can ask guys out too, there's nothing wrong with that. I kind of want to give you guys some date ideas to kind of avoid. First off is a situation that I'm sure most of us have been in. Let's just say you get asked out by this really cute guy or this really cute girl and they take you to the movies. Girls, we've taken an hour to curl our hair, put on our makeup, we wore a brand new outfit, and he didn't even get to appreciate it because we're sitting in the dark. Now guys, the girl wants to enjoy your charming personality and your beautiful smile because you even combed your hair for her. This is a big deal. But you can't do that if you're sitting in the dark. So, movie, not the best way to spend a date because you don't get to know the person you're with, which is the whole point of taking someone on a date to begin with. I'm done lecturing. Okay. Now I want to give you guys some better date ideas to kind of make it more possible for you to have better communication, to try to have more fun on your dates, to kind of get to that happily ever after. In the Marie Claire magazine, there was an article done last month that she talked a lot about ways to have better dates, to bring up better communication with the people that you're with. Some of the things that she brings up is going to a corn maze, which gives you and your date a chance to kind of figure out and problem solve together, and it's also kind of fun. The weather gets a little bit colder, so girls, you can take his jacket, hold his hand, guys, just kind of go with it. Another thing she suggests is going to a carnival or a fair. It's kind of out of the box and unique, so your date's going to be impressed that you kind of, went the extra mile and planned a really special date. And then the last thing that she suggests in this article is either cooking or baking together, which is so good for a couple of reasons. First of all, you get food. That's never a bad thing. Second of all, it takes a lot of the pressure and the stress off of planning a date that's out in public. Plus, if you've been with this person for a couple dates, and you want to know if they have some long-term potential, the kitchen's a really good place to do that because nobody wants to get stuck with someone that doesn't know how to cook at least one decent meal. So if you don't, you might want to get on that. And the last thing that I wanted to add was my personal favorite, mini golfing. I think that mini golfing is really fun. It's kind of hard with the weather the way it is right now, kind of snowy and freezing. But once the weather's nice, it's a good way to get you outside. And it takes a while, so you have plenty of time to make all this conversation and flirt it up, and it's really fun. But let's say that you're already married Hopefully one day you want to be married, so how does this advice relate to you in the future when you have a spouse and you're not trying to get a girlfriend because you've already gotten your happily ever after? But even after a happily ever after happens, you know, life slows down, the routine settles in, the need to impress kind of goes away a little bit because you've already got yours. But I'm here to tell you that planning a date week or date night once a week or even once every other week, whatever you can fit in your schedule, is still really helpful for you to continue to get to know the person that you've chosen. And people are constantly changing. So you as a spouse wants to be a part of your spouse's change. And the best way to do that is to set aside time to continue learning about that person, and it'll only strengthen the bond that you already have. So maybe you have a child, or one day you want to have a child. Once kids are in the picture, gentlemen, the best way to show your kids that you love them is to love their mother. So I hope that I've given you guys a lot of information, or at least enough to make it a little bit easier to ask out that special someone. So here's the thing. I know that looking at all this lovely cash on the table, it can go a long way while we're in college, okay? And you might want to spend it on all those other things that are really important. But I urge you to keep it invested in dating, because then you can have your happily ever after. And you only get your happily ever after if you spend the money the right way on your once upon a time. And married people, spending this money to better get to know the person that you've already chosen to spend the rest of your life with is also a worthy investment. So my question to you is, with this advice, your once upon a time could be tonight. But what are you going to do about it?